Absolutely. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all so much for being here with us for this huge announcement. We're just so excited about it because it does speak to the real needs of our organization in terms of wanting to grow our manpower on the ground with our firefighters. This has been a collaborative effort, just as we focus on public safety as a team. No silos within the Cantrell administration. I'm joined by our Superintendent Tim McConnell, of course our Director of Homeland Security, Colin Arnold. We're joined by our Director of Public Safety and Homeland Security, Colonel Terry Everett. Thank you so much for being here. Chief Roman Nelson, who's with us as well, and Captain Inspector, thank you so much for joining us, and all of those who are part of the public safety team, particularly this afternoon, the New Orleans Fire Department, second to none. We're here to announce a fabulous grant award that we're receiving, $15.9 million, truly unprecedented. This is called the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Grant. We call it SAFER. This is through a partnership with the Department of Homeland Security as well as FEMA at the federal level. And I tell you, when I say a collaborative effort, yes, indeed it was. Our Department of Homeland Security really did take the lead in drafting this and responding to this request for proposals, submitting a grant application on behalf of our New Orleans Fire Department. Of course, front and center on this is through the leadership of our Superintendent, Tim McConnell. You know, like me, growing our force, our department has been a big priority for us. But at the end of the day, you really need the resources that it takes to make that happen. So, putting our best foot forward, showing partnerships matter, we're here again to announce a $15.9 million investment in the New Orleans Fire Department through investing in people, building the rank and file within our firefighters community. You know that this has been a priority even coming from our firefighters. We've heard them speak to this. Even as we faced Mardi Gras 2020, we heard this come from the ground, and we told our firefighters to make no mistake about it, that our administration was doing everything necessary to ensure that we can build the ranks, add more firefighters to our rank and file, but at the end of the day, going after the needed resources to make this a reality. This will be over a 3-year period, 63 firefighters. This is a huge win for the city of New Orleans. So right now, I want to bring up our true leader on this, Superintendent Tim McConnell, to let you know more about what this means for our New Orleans Fire Department. So Chief, come on up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This truly does mean a great deal to the safety of our residents in this city, and I couldn't be more proud of the folks who work for me. Captain Matt Spector, so each of the public safety agencies, as the Mayor said, we all work together in unison with Homeland Security. Each of us has liaisons that work up at Homeland Security, and our liaison is Captain Matt Spector, who is standing behind me, and he actually put together all the hard work and getting all the research for our administrative staff on what the actual cost would be and putting and submitting the grant. It is a true win for the city to get this amount of money, to be able to hire 63 firefighters and have 100% of that cost covered by the federal government for 3 years through a FEMA grant. We are truly grateful that they recognized it, and I'm grateful to Captain Spector for putting the hard work in and the talent to get this done. It bodes well for you, Matt. I'll tell you, Deputy Superintendent Roman Nelson wrote all of our grants previously, and you see where he's standing today. But it takes good leaders in the department, and Matt is one of those, so thank you. This is big. This is actually one of 7 major grants that we have gotten in the past 12 months. So since September of last year, we have received, in addition to this $15.9 million, another $750,000 in grants that are buying everything from safety equipment for firefighters, some of it COVID related, some actual firefighting equipment, some rescue equipment. It's called bailout belts. So when you see a situation like we had on Charter Street a few months back, where a firefighter got trapped, these are for a self-rescue, where a firefighter would be able to hook into the window or to a piece of the structure and lower themselves down safely if we couldn't get to them quick enough. So very, very grateful for all that equipment and getting those grants. Some have been, a couple of them have been private grants, but once again, it takes a lot of hard work, and it's one of the things that gets done behind the scenes. Everybody likes the nice shiny truck and going out to the fires, but this is the hard work that happens behind the scenes that firefighters, members of this department do every day. And I want to thank Homeland Security for their partnership, and once again, Captain Spector for his hard work. With that said, we have a list of all of the grants that we will give you along with the press release, the details of each one of them, when they were received and what they actually covered and what the amounts were. But with that said, I will go ahead and take some questions now.
WDSU.
What happens after the 3 years, and will any of this money go to increase the pay for the firefighters that are already?
I'm sorry, yes, it again.
What happens after the 3 years? If it's a 3-year grant, what goes to pay for those firefighters' salaries after that?
Well,
and will any of the firefighters that already work here receive any bonuses or any?
No, this is strictly for hiring. This is to get to boost the hiring, the staffing. So as the mayor pointed out, staffing for adequate fire and emergency response is the name of it, and this is to help us hire new firefighters and get them trained. So it'll pay for that training, and it'll pay for them after they're on the fire trucks.
So then what happens after 3 years?
After 3 years, it's the city. It will come out the general fund like all the other firefighting costs that we currently have in our general budget.
Right, and the good news about it is that having the grant award paid for us to stand up for a 3-year period allows us the cushion that we need on the administrative side to build our budget to manage and handle that capacity after the 3-year period. Make no mistake, we knew that we needed to grow our department, and this was the best way to do it so that we can build basically on both ends. Our internal capacity within the fire department, as well as the budget and the resources necessary to, again, meet us where we need to be.
And as the mayor said, this could not be more timely when you consider all of the economic impact of that we've gone through right now with COVID.
The Advocate.
What's the current staffing level of the department, and what's the timeline for actually getting firefighters hired?
So the current staffing level, I believe, we're right around 580 members on the department. The timeline is as quick as possible. You have 180 days to actually get the hiring done before the mandatory date starts. So it's 3 years that has to start no later than 180 days. But just to give you an idea of how we are working on it and how excited we are about getting it done, it came to us last Monday was the official notification, and we already have, I think, somewhere between 12 and 15 people who have gone through some of the phases, and they're moving on to basically getting ready to get a letter, conditional offers, what we call it, through civil service, where they then move on to all their medical tests. So we have to clear them and say, these people are clear for hiring before we can go do those more private things, right? Like somebody divulging their health history and going through a psychological exam. So law requires we have to offer them a job. We've gotten to that point where we have, I think it's right at 15 that we're getting ready to move to that next step. So very, very excited about that, and we're pushing hard to get more people through there and get a class. An initial class will start somewhere between 25 and 30. As soon as we get 25, we will start a class. If we hopefully can get a few, they want them in groups, obviously. If we get as many as 30, we can start a class with 30. But the goal is to get them in the door and get them started as soon as possible so we can get them on the fire trucks.
And is there a specific duty that they're be assigned to? I know.
They'll be 100% of these folks will be riding the red trucks.
Are they going to be used? I know there's been issues with the number of people per truck in the past. Are they going to be used? They'll go out
Absolutely, absolutely. So we get everybody hired, they'll be riding on fire trucks, and every person that we get in, we just got a class out. We had 25 people just graduate. Remember, we had a graduation just recently. We put something out. Obviously, it wasn't as public as some of our graduations because of social distancing and COVID requirements, but we did put a press release out on that. Those folks, every one of them, right onto the fire trucks, and so yeah, obviously it makes our staffing levels go up as we get these people in the door. That is the purpose of this.
You said your current staffing level was at 580. Will the 63 bring you up to fully staffed, or where would you ideally
Well,
be?
attrition doesn't stop. The goal would be it would actually, if we had all of them today, it would put us a little bit above where we want to be. But, attrition is being what it is. We lose a couple of people through retirements, each month on an average. And so, yeah, there will be some attrition. And so, hiring never ends, as you know, with us and police and EMS. Hiring goes on all the time. But yeah, the goal would be get them in as quick as possible, get our staffing levels up, and then hopefully our economy comes back and we continue keeping and maintaining our budgeted levels. Once again, that's only, I want to be careful with that because there are a lot of question marks, as you know. I know y'all are covering budget issues too. There are a lot of question marks about where we're going to land. And forgive me if I'm stepping out here, boss, but realistic, we'll see how that goes. But the goal is to keep our levels up, and hopefully everything starts to come back, and this will get us through to that time when the city and our country and the world really recover economically and are able to maintain our staffing levels.
Can you tell us how this money, this grant, equates to an increase in public safety for people who live, work, and visit the city of New Orleans?
Having this grant truly increases public safety by increasing the number of firefighters on fire trucks. As I've emphasized, this is about hiring firefighters who ride fire trucks. None of this money can be used for anything else. This is all about the boots on the ground that respond to calls. And obviously, the more people we have available to do that, the safer it makes our residents.
Anyone else?
I'm subject for the mayor, so anybody want to continue with this?
Is it pertaining to this, Jeff?
I've got a quick one. Given the attrition you just mentioned, do you have a sense of what the actual staffing is going to be, 180 days out or a year out when you have these firefighters?
Once again, it's about 2 per month, so we'll have our full staffing for the department based on this year's budget would be 635. And so you can see it would get us close, but obviously if attrition goes at about 2 a month, it'll pretty much get us right at our budget level. But once again, we have 2021 budget coming up, and the goal is I can tell you, the goal is to try and keep our staffing as high as possible. But we do understand that there's some question marks right now across all the country and the world. But that's the goal.
And one question mark
COVID.
is our ability to hire up, and we have the resources to do that. Thank you.
This has
For
been
the
your
partnership with the federal government. 63 firefighters is a big accomplishment in the city of New Orleans. So thank you very much. Thank you, Chief.
And then WGNO off topic.
Mayor, comments about the large shooting, definitely large event.
Sure. Well, I know that my superintendent of police have spoken to the media in regards to what went down in and on the streets of the city of New Orleans that was caused by and even the victims of our evacuees here in the city of New Orleans. It will continue to be under investigation. We believe that both are connected in some capacity. And at the end of the day, the biggest response from me would be that will not be tolerated on the streets of the city of New Orleans. We are a welcoming community. We have demonstrated that. We will continue to do just that. However, violent crime will not be tolerated. And I do want to thank the New Orleans Police Department, in addition to state police who were on the ground and who responded very swiftly and was able to make those apprehensions. And in addition to that, take several more guns off the streets of New Orleans. So this is something that we cannot tolerate in our city.
Thank you all.
Wait,
Wait.
Can you give us
Oh.
an update on your LHSAA review?
Well, what I will say to you right now is that I left a meeting talking about it. There are several other meetings that I will be participating in throughout the week, and I will make my decision based on those conversations and of course looking at data and the like. But it will come. It'll come.
The governor's expected to make an announcement as soon as tomorrow on phase 3. What are your thoughts on Orleans Parish entering phase 3? When do you think that could possibly happen?
Sure. Well, I cannot give you, I guess, a timeline, something that I can give you a particular date. I cannot do that. What I will say is that while the city of New Orleans continues to do better than any other parish in the state of Louisiana, we're still in flux. And I mean that we have over 12,000 evacuees in our city that has joined our city coming from parishes that were, definitely coming from community spread. That is a concern. In addition to that, we have our colleges, our universities, where our students have returned to campus, and we're glad for that. But working through the cases that we're seeing as well, making sure that they are isolated appropriately to prevent further spread, not only on campus, but moving towards community spread. Those things are really the top priority, in addition to our school kids returning to the classroom, at least pre-K through 4, we know beginning on September the 14th, which will move through September the 25th. So there are so many unknowns, things that we do not control, although we've been able to control very well the rate of spread in our community. However, we've opened up our community to other varying aspects of this virus that we really have to determine what the impacts will be. I will need to do that before thinking about a phase 3. I will be looking very closely at the governor's press conference, the decision that he will make, but even standing in the convention center on Friday was very evident about the challenges that we face with schools coming back in, schools that are already in, additional 12,000 people within our community now, and looking at that rate of spread, and not only that, having a horrible, in my opinion, response from this community over the Labor Day holiday weekend. So when you factor, I have to look at all of that, and it doesn't look good for the city of New Orleans as it relates to the decisions that I will have to make, because we're not doing what we should be at the levels that we need to. And Labor Day weekend was a problem.
Are you concerned that
I'm very much concerned about it, and I have reason to be, because again, we've been in this for a while now, for 6 months. The numbers don't lie, and the rate of spread, it doesn't lie. So based on what we know and how we had an uptick after Memorial Day weekend, and seeing the crowds even larger this weekend than Memorial Day, it really does give me great concern. But the priority in this community, this city, from where I sit, is getting all of our kids back into that classroom.
And your last question, WWF.
This is kind of the same topic. As you weigh all of that from a city perspective, and you see restaurants in particular struggling, trying to weigh the decision of how to open, what to do, what would be your message to them from a city perspective?
Well, restaurants have been open.
For the ones who haven't been.
Well, I mean, the restaurants have been open, and they have been able to expand even their outdoor capacity to meet that particular need. That's why we make public dollars available, and we'll continue to do whatever we can to enhance the footprint of our restaurants to operate, and build their outdoor capacity. So we're doing that. We will continue to do that. Those that are taking the biggest hit is still our bar community. We cannot overlook that. So as I'm having to make or facing decisions that I'll have to make soon enough, I have to also factor in who has not been able, to be a part of the economic engine. And right now it is our bar community. But based on the rate of spread, we will continue to be in this place for some time. And we'll look at the data and use that to determine how we move from phase 1 to phase 3, but all of the indicators that I've listed give me great concern, and I cannot give you definitive answers at this time, other than, I'm looking at the numbers and the amount of activity